Hi everyone, this is Michaela from the third floor. Today we're going to be talking about the comic book series, an epic sci-fi adventure, Saga, written by Brian K. Vaughan, illustrated by Fiona Staples, and published by Image Comics. So why are we talking about this now? Well, in case you don't know, it's Banned Books Week, which is an annual ALA event that celebrates the freedom to read. So we're looking at current and historical attempts to censor books in both libraries and schools. So what does Saga have to do with all of this? Well, first of all, Saga publishing began in 2012. It ran until 2018 with a total of 54 issues. The series is not yet over. It's supposed to be coming back soon. We don't have an exact date, but hopefully soon. Anyway, since its publication, it's one of the most challenged comic book series, but we're going to get to that in a minute after I explain a bit about the series. Okay, so what is Saga about? Think Star Wars, but with the character development of Game of Thrones, if you've ever seen that or read that. But just like Game of Thrones, there is a lot of adult content. Language, nudity, violence, sex. But there are a lot of common themes: love, family, violence, mythology, and even social commentary. Before we get into the main characters, I want to kind of set up the scene for you, or the galaxy. So there are a lot of planets within this comic book series, but the main ones we want to focus on are Landfall and Wreath. Wreath is not really a planet. I'll talk about that in a second. But Landfall, big planet, all of the inhabitants have wings. Wreath, technically it's Landfall's moon. It's only satellite. Inhabitants there speak a different language, and they all have some type of horns. Wreath and Landfall have been at war with each other since what seems like forever, so long that there are other planets involved. The violence has spread to these other planets, and so long that a lot of people don't even know why they're in a war. They just grow up hating each other and picking a side. Okay, so now for our main characters: Alana, Marco, and Hazel. Alana's from Landfall. Marco is from Wreath. And like any great story, they fall in love with each other, star-crossed lovers. And they fall in love over a bad romance novel. They have a baby together. She's named Hazel. And this baby is everything that these two warring nations fear. Hazel has both wings and horns. So Landfall and Wreath want to exterminate the entire family. So this family is on the run, trying to protect themselves. More characters within Saga. We have bounty hunters, which they call freelancers. My favorite duo is the Will and his sidekick Lion Cat. His name is Lion Cat because Lion Cat will shout lying whenever someone isn't telling the truth. Or if he's not sure, he'll say lying? ? There's also Isabel, right over here. That's her Funko Pop form. Isabel is what they call a horror. She is a ghost. She can shapeshift into anything to scare people off, but she's actually a hilarious dead teen that is bonded with baby Hazel. She's her nighttime babysitter because she only shows up when the sun goes down. Then we have the Robot Kingdom and Prince Robot IV. The Robot Kingdom is really interesting because they look just like people, but they have TVs for heads, and the royal family has the color TVs, the flat screens, the nice ones, and their subjects have the old TVs. The robots have sided with Landfall, but just like I was explaining, things get complicated. Okay, so more about the series. Amazing storytelling, amazing illustrations. It really feels adult, aside from the adult language and scenes. The characters are very complex. You might be reading and you first meet a character and you're like, oh, I hate them. You instantly don't like them, but then you learn a little bit more about them, and they are very complicated, and I don't know, I kind of like all of the characters, and it's just like real life, people are complicated. I instantly became addicted to the series. Side note, I started reading, and then I bought all of the volumes, and then I bought all of the books, and then I bought the single issues, but you don't have to do that. I am that nerd. You don't have to be that nerd because we have all of this available at the library, unless you want to be that nerd. Anyway, you can also read these at the library, or you can check out the digital versions from Hoopla. Hoopla has books 1, 2, and 3, and they also have all of the volumes. They do not have the single issues. The comic is also narrated by the future Hazel. So you learn a little bit about the future, but she doesn't really give anything away. Sometimes she tricks you out and you think, oh no, that happened, but it doesn't. So that's fun. Okay, so going back to Banned Books Week, hopefully now you have a little bit of a better idea of why this comic book series has been frequently challenged. When I told my coworker that I was going to do a video on this series, I said, oh, did you know it had been challenged a lot? And he said, have you read the first page? So, spoiler, if you open up the very first page, there is a birth scene. Alana is giving birth to baby Hazel, and I do not have any children, but I imagine, you might have say some bad words and have strong emotions when you are giving birth. So if that is not your cup of tea, I maybe wouldn't suggest this series for you, but if you can get past that, I really think you'll enjoy this series. Like I said, I was instantly addicted. Anyway, back in 2012, another illustrator even said on his blog that he thought Saga was offensive because there is a cover with Alana breastfeeding her baby Hazel. And, actually his blog post, which is not up anymore, received a lot of backlash. A lot of people were like, well, what's so offensive about breastfeeding? In 2014, Saga made the ALA's list of the top 10 frequently challenged books. Also in 2014, a public library in Oregon petitioned for the removal of Saga, Volume 1. They said that the content was sexually explicit, which yes it is, but they said it was age inappropriate. Well, this is an adult series. They also said that Saga propagated anti-family values, which I kind of find funny since the whole series is about a family trying to stick together. Also, when issue 12 came out, the digital version wasn't available for iOS devices, so Apple devices, because there were some panels featuring gay sex scenes. It wasn't actually Apple's doing, it was Comixology's, because they interpreted Apple's policies in a different way, but eventually they released issue 12 digitally. Okay, so like I said before, the comics, how you can read them, where you can find them. We at Morley Library have books 1, 2, and 3. We have some of the volumes. If you can't check them out here, you could check the catalog, the CleveNet catalog on our website. If you don't want to wait, which I suggest not waiting because it's an awesome series, you can always check out the digital versions through Hoopla with your library card. It's free. If you need some help figuring out how to use Hoopla, just come to the library. We'll show you how to do that. And again, it's free with your library card. So what's coming next? Well, again, the series is supposed to pick back up. We don't know when, hopefully soon. So, come to the library, check these out. Use Hoopla, you could stay at home, do whatever you prefer. But just remember, having fun isn't hard when you have a library card. So that's all for today, but hope you enjoy, and I hope you start reading Saga. Bye.